collector, man. I'm a worker. I'm a soldier bee.
That's dope, man. And being able to do it out of home, and that like
for COVID, dude, we got sent home.
Condition that it's like the wife, as long as she's not like.
Dude, Bernie, that's literally how I started doing my work.
I see you being in a man role sort of thing. So it's like, that's good that you could. Healthy, right?
I still hear it though from my buddies though, so fair game. It's all good. Shout out to my wife. I love my wife, baby girl. I was with them earlier all day in the pool. Like I said, man, immersing some, if you can't tell the sun, but I got a little bit of red on my chest. So shout out to Tranquil Vortex. What a sweetheart. She's like,
that girl, that Aussie has bars, and right, she's a dope.
Yeah, I seen that when she was flowing. That was super cool. Yeah,
right. Awesome. You saw that, right? It was on.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, it was dope.
EBTX as well. Saved by Truth. That is on his 18-hour stream where he fell asleep.
Is that when that was? Holy shit!
Yeah, it was 12 solid hours, and then he fell asleep and he forgot to turn it off. But he made the 12.
Nice, very cool.
Noah Diggity, Bear, can you give me a shout to your celly?
So yeah, what did you think that interesting there tidbit there from the old Behold a Pale Horse? I was it's funny when EBT, shout out to EBT and Chalk Inc. I seen him post one time. EBT's hilarious. His fucking chat said, he says, he's like, yo, they have files on you from your Napster profile. And shit, man. I have I still have files on the tower of my computer that I had, the Napster, all the songs that I had. But I was also downloading videos of like when Alex Jones fucking got into Bohemian Grove. Who's the other Maxwell guy? The other fucking, I always shout out Jordan Maxwell, Jim Myers, videos of those dudes. You can get, those were fucking popular videos on Napster also. Alex Jones outside of, dude, he was outside of a Bilderberg meeting one time with a fucking blowhorn. It was crazy. And I downloaded it off Napster. And I'm like, dude, who is this guy? That's one of my first introductions to him, seeing him do that. Because I was all hyped on this shit. People, my same buddies that bust my balls about working with my wife, bust my balls about how crazy I was about the Illuminati back in the day. But anyway.
Shout out to Jim Myers, though, man. He did great work.
Yeah, Jim Myers was one of the original disseminators of all the fucking data. Jordan Maxwell, too. Everybody says Alex Jones and David Icke. No one shouts out Jim Myers or even Jordan Maxwell doesn't get as much play as he should. And who knows? These guys could have been ops to like Revelation of Method or whatever. But I tend to see the good side of people and give the benefit of the doubt. So, heck, maybe they were. But shit, man. Fuck. Owen was just on Alex Jones, man.
Right, well, it's like they, at a certain point, and especially in that generation where it was like the first generation of like truther sort of thing and like internet media and all of that independent, that once they got to a certain size, especially if they're in the US, like they had to put that, like, repeat the second, like CIA, NSA, Mockingbird, 85%, and then they're like allowed to still do their 15% of like actual truth sort of thing. So.
That's a good point, because it's like, yo, think about that. How do they get now? Just allegedly, and I learned a lot from these guys. But how do they get all that information acquired before the internet, though? You know what I mean? Like they were wealths of information about all, even going back to the like their mythology of the occultic, whatever, the New World Order and stuff, back to the Mesopotamian sands of time. They knew all of it, man. How do they acquire all that? How do they acquire all that? Yeah, dude, for sure. Back to the fucking all the deities of ancient Mesopotamia, dude, for real. A lot of the some of the sects of the cult that are in control, whatever, right now, definitely placate to that shit. So it's just curious, how did David Icke, and I'm not taking anything away from their research capabilities and stuff, but they did have so much data on all this before the internet went crazy. So it's like,
That's what I say. The first truthers into media, that a lot of them started on late night radio too, though, in the call-in shows, and we're like, that would probably be it. Like they're legit the first generations of truthers, and with that call-in shows and radio.
There's definitely that underground element to it, Bernie. Good point. The call, like Coast to Coast AM with George Norrie now, but like fuck, what was the original fucking host name, dude?
No.
I can't believe I can't think of it right now, man. But yeah, that's a good point. So it's like, and there were like cassette videotapes. Remember, like one of the ops back, and they were like, black helicopters are going to be all over the place and come get everybody.
Black VHSs and stuff.
Yeah. I had one that was black helicopters from FEMA.
Why isn't it a 1039? Why does 1040 have anything to do with it? Why not a 2038, a 6106? Why is it a 1040? Can you tell me?
He had a really...
This video is from a wizard.
If we understand history, we can then build a case. And this is important to me. I'm a nerd that way, okay? Well, okay, what we're going to do is then I'm going to go over the 1040 with you.
Feel free to keep talking.
The titles go from 1 to 50. 50 being the military, 26 is Title 26 is the Internal Revenue Code, Title 27 is the ATF, 18 is Crimes and Criminal Procedure, Title 31 is the Treasury. So there's statutes. So Title 1, Section 1. Let's see what it says. I'm going to read it to you. In determining the meaning of any act of Congress, unless the context tells you otherwise.
Going for a smoke.
Who wrote Title 26? Congress. Okay? And it was printed by the GPO, the government.
You have a beautiful room, BurnEye.
Government printing office. So what it's telling you is any act of Congress. There's arguments out there that'll say, well, it has not been enacted into positive law. So therefore, Title 26 doesn't have anything to do with me. Any act of Congress. Congress wrote it, whether it's been enacted or not, that makes no difference. Now, the second side says words importing the singular include and apply to several persons, parties, or things.
Pay attention.
I'm going to ask you, what does singular mean? Do you mind answering for me? What does singular mean?
One.
Okay, now I'm not a problem. I'm going to let you say that. You're going to prison. Do you realize that? You're going to prison. Now it's just a matter of how long. Read that for me again, line 2. Read that again for me. Out loud, please.
Words importing the singular include and apply to several persons, parties, or things.
What does singular mean?
It means the whole group.
No, it means say. Now, let me ask you a question. Are you married by any chance? Okay. Have you ever been married? Okay. If you were married, would you have singular wife or plural wives? What would you have? Really? So you'd have several wives, several. Now, let's read the next one. Words importing the plural include the singular. What does plural mean? One. Up means down, and down means up. Do you see that or not? So what they're doing is they have a language of their own, and they bastardize it to where on the stand, you're nervous, they're going to ask you a question. What does singular mean? One. No, sir, it means more than one. You just buried yourself. You're going to prison. You don't have a choice. Now it's just a matter of how long do you want to go? See, when they took me and they were putting me in prison for 55 years, the judge says, now because you're here, you're getting 55 years. He said, I'll tell you what, I'll cut you a deal, give you 30. So 30 years, 50 years, 1,000 years, makes no difference. I'm going to die there. So I told him, I said, man, let me make you a deal. Put me in jail for 100. And I sat down. He goes, so the judge didn't know what to say. What's he going to say? No, I'll tell you, I'll give you one more choice, 20. I said, okay, give me 120.
Psychological
Says,
people.
do you understand what you're saying? No, do you understand what you're saying? Now, I want you to think how I think. I owe you $500. Got that? Will you take 30? How much will you take?
100.
Really? You wouldn't take 600? Oh, see, I'm a nut job. I told you I'm a nut job. So he's saying you owe me 55 years, but I'll give you 30 if you'll sign this that you're guilty and say that you won't challenge anything. So I told him no. So I told him, I said, what are you nuts? I said, if you don't give me 120 years, you ain't got a hair in your ass. And I sat back down. And the judge says, I said, make it 125 because I'm being indicted. They got the indictment broken down. They didn't have 55 years there. He said, okay, I've never done this. This is the best deal I'll ever get you. Sign this and I'll give you 10 years. I said, add another 10 years. Sounds good. Give me 160 years. I sat back down. And he says, so he had me unchained. I was chained around here, chained on my arms, chained on my ankle, and then they had an eye bolt in the floor and they had a padlock on it. So the marshals unhooked me, took me into his chambers. He said, do you know what you're doing? You think you can beat the awesome power of the United States? I said, I don't know. The question is, can you beat me? See, I don't think like normal. Does that make sense? Okay, now I want you to understand.
You're
what
not
they're saying
investigating me.
Now let's read the next
I'm
one.
investigating you.
Words used in the present tense includes the future as well. Now, am I the only PhD in here?
Forward.
Public high school diploma. See,
We're the first ones to get that.
that's right. See, I got a public high school diploma. So the judge says, where'd you go to school? I said, well, I got a PhD. He says, you got a PhD? I said, well, yeah. Yeah. And he says, well, where'd you go to school? I said, Reed City High School. What?
So to give some context, this is Kari Zolman.
Gary Zolman.
Carrie Zolman. I ain't heard this one. He's like a Carl Lentz creature, or what?
Well, he goes on the basic principle of concept of belief and reality. And as you see there, if their reality is singular means plural and plural means singular, they're the ones living in the dual reality, right?
Mm.
So do those apply to a guy that knows his own reality?
Well, yeah. Then we get into where the reality stems from, right? Like
Exactly.
and all
Do you
that.
see how what's interesting to me is how he points out in their verbiage that it's all inverted. Once you know that, again, just knowing their tools helps you. When you can see something in your focus, you can better deal with it.
Yep.
We
Well,
literally live in a backwards world, though, right now. Anything like the mainstream says, you can pretty much invert it, and the exact opposite is what has happened or is what is about to happen right now.
Well,
In Babylon, in Babylon, in that world, in that scaffolding, nature is always true, right?
And not
That's
only that, but they've got you in a belief system too. I need 2 guys to volunteer for a psychological test with me.
Bernie, that guy's name was Art Bell. I looked it up. I can't believe I had to look it up, man.
Art Bell, right?
I can't believe I didn't fucking remember
Dude,
that.
he
man.
was like a classic. Yeah, I don't know how you can remember it either.
Bell.
For real,
But
dude.
now that you say it, the name Art and Bell,
Yeah,
there's
interesting.
the one channel, no, not the Machine Live.
The Machine.
Not our Persian friend, a different guy.
Oh, okay.
Anyways, but he accused Campbell of being a Freemason because his name was Bell. It was pretty funny.
Oh, dude, just look what RV Truth says about it. If I go like this, he's gonna in talking. You know what I mean? This guy's clearly a Mason. It's funny. You know what I mean?
Illuminati confirmed.
Let's do a quick psychological.
Why do that?
Truther and Bear and me. Okay, Truther, I owe you $20. Bear, Truther owes you $20. And then you owe me $20, right? So each of us owes the next guy $20. I've got $10, Truther. I'm going to give you the $10. Now I only owe you 10, right? Now you turn around and you give that 10 to Bear, and you now only owe him $10, right? Now Bear turns around and gives me that $10 back. Now he only owes me $10. Hey, Truther Cop, I got that other $10 for you. Here you go.
Thank you. I'll take it.
Now you turn around and give it to Bear. Bear turns around and gives it to me. And I still got the $20 that I started out with $10, and nobody owes anybody anything. How's that for a psychological trick?
That's hilarious.
Well,
That's
that gets
what
into
the US
printing
is
money
doing.
and interest.
I love that.
That's what the
amazing
U.S.
right
is
there.
doing to you.
Yeah.
They're involving a third party, and
They're
it's all a
offering-
belief system that tricks you up.
Right, offering the convenience of the fiat, whatever. And I'm not saying I'm totally against it because I use it. I use it, but it's like when you're aware of it, you know enough in your own faculties and
You
wherewithal.
know how to direct it.
Direct it. Also, just try to be more independent and not as much dependent on it or the system that they're offering. For example, I'm grateful, literally, and this is an example that I use with my work and my research. I researched the Niagara River. I fish from it. I swim in it my whole life. But it's a resource. I pull, me and my buddies go fishing a lot. We pull a lot of fish out of there. And you also can in winter. So, there's a thing like having chickens or whatever, just being more independent. Okay. So you don't have to be reliant on whatever they're offering. It's all an offer of services and more convenience. And that's why I love how I really respect the faithful Rastafaris, how they call everything, like including like police Babylon. I fucking love that. It's so perfect. And that I kind of do that now. And I like spell it like Babel, Babble, Babylon, because that's effectively what it is.
Babble on the microphone and Babylon and
Yeah.
Babylon.
Yeah, and like the Rastafaris say, it's all Babylon. And I can understand that.
Coast to Coast
And it's all Zion, right?
Well, there's conjecture there. That's the old Jewish
Or mental
information,
masturbation.
man. I researched that too. That's in a lot of truth traps and movies too, Bernie.
Now you can become a Coast Insider.
And a lot of old maps as well.
That's a good nice one there, Shem, because that is that's a good show.
Shout out to Cartarian Truth.
Yeah. I'm not sure if they still do it, but if it's like on.
No, one of them is dead.
Oh, really?
Dead.
They were hilarious, man.
Yeah.
Super informative too about literally super. People would just call in.
Yeah,
they were funny.
Is it making more than I love that they were like trying to diagnose car sounds like.
They're funny, man. They're good. But you know what? I'm gonna dip out, guys. I gotta. Speaking of work, I gotta get some sleep before work. So I appreciate. Hey, Bernie. Yeah, Bernie, we'll be in touch, man.
For sure.
I got your email, man. For real. Truther Cop. Thanks, brother.
You all, man. Thanks.
Wizard, everybody, watch your six out there, and be wary of the mob that wants to grab the torches and pitchforks. So.
Yeah, they're always out there looking for an opening.
Yep, watch your six. God bless
Okay.
you.
They won't do shit if you don't invite them in.
And R.I.P. Art Bell and man, Richard C. Hoagland, that guy right there, he does some interesting stuff, and he was where I first heard of Cydonia. And for those that don't know Cydonia or Richard Hoagland's work, it's an area of Mars that's both the face of Mars is on, and then there's a whole bunch of pyramids, a giant pyramid complex city right next to the face of Mars. And it's very, very fascinating stuff. Face of Mars is real.
Is it a globe?
Could be. I don't know.
You like that, didn't you, Mitchell?
Yeah, sounds good.
Truther Cop, back to your so where did you join this trucker convoy, and where did it end up? How long were you part of it for?
We went from Atlanta, California to Hagerstown, Maryland, then back to California, then back to Hagerstown, Maryland, over like 4 months.
Yeah, back and
The
forth.
whole time.
Really? Just going across the U.S. the whole time, back and forth.
Yeah, I drove across the U.S. 4 times last year.
That's epic, man. That's some real world, citizen journalism, and power to you. Why did you start out with the yellow turban though? The turban.
Yeah, Forrest Gump.
That's yet to be determined.
Ha 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 ha.
All right. You're still on my sus list.
Good. It'll keep you interested, won't it?
And just so your head doesn't swell, Forrest Gump walked it 8 times, right?
Exactly.
Run, Forrest, run.
I'm gonna start closing this down. I'm gonna listen to some Art Bell. I'm just gonna play this freaking whole episode out on, to be honest with you.
Yeah, for sure. I was live on my channel as well. I hosted it for a little bit there, but I'm going to shut this down, and I'm going to be doing my full stream here in about half hour. We're going over a bunch of crazy ancient photos. Much love.
I recommend everybody check out Kerry Zolman on YouTube. That guy that we just listened to about the I'm telling you. You think I'm insane? You're going to listen to him and think he's insane, but we're telling you, that's the way it works, folks. So thanks for having me up. God bless. Love you.
Thanks for coming up. Let me pull this on there. Kerry Zolman right here. That clip we were watching a moment ago. Thanks for being up here, Wizard. And check out BurnEye, a.k.a. Crypto Alchemist. He's got 2 channels going all the time. I'm not the only one out here.
Much love, brother. Respect what you do.
Thanks for coming up, man. Good to see you. I started this one extra late, so it's kind of a shorter one, but I'm just closing it. I'm going to listen to Art Bell, and I'm going to chill, man. Good to see you. Have a good night, sir.